If you cheat on your wife or your husband, but especially your wife, especially men, if you cheat on your wife, don't tell her. Don't confess. If you cheat on your spouse, don't tell them. Do not ever do it. It is one of the most catastrophic and damaging things you can ever do in your life. Don't do it. And I know you've been told something else all your life. People will even quote the Bible to support the idea of confession. They will say that if we confess and repent, then our sins are forgiven. Excuse me, that is to God and from God, not to man. It is confession to God, not to man. Do not do it. The first question you must ask yourself is this: what exactly are you trying to achieve with your confession? This confessing that you want to go and do, what is the objective? Ask yourself that question. Because people who confess manage to convince themselves that they are trying to come clean, that they are being honest. But the reality, the truth is, you are not being honest. No, you are being manipulative. If honesty were your greatest strength, then you would at least be honest with yourself as to why you want to confess. Because the reason you want to confess is not because you are honest. The reason is because the weight of guilty conscience is killing you, and you are looking to share it with somebody. You are looking for somebody else to bear the burden with you. Or alternatively, you're trying consciously or subconsciously to sabotage your relationship. And you are hoping that by telling your wife or your husband, your spouse, your partner, your significant other, you are hoping they will do exactly what most people do. That they will go up in flames and torpedo and grenade and scatter the relationship. That's what you're hoping. In other words, there is no benefit to your spouse when you confess. All the benefit is yours. What you give them is pain. You give them pain, heartache, misery, and agony. Before I got married, I was in this serious relationship, very serious. And I cheated. I cheated. And then, stupidly, I told her. Now, standing back after all these years and looking at it, I can see clearly why I did it. From the distance of the years, I can see exactly why I did it. I was trying to sabotage that relationship. I wanted out. That's the reality. I wanted out of the relationship. But I couldn't get out because she seemed to be perfect. On the surface, everybody said she was perfect. She was beautiful. She was a church girl. She was respectful and all of that. And so, if I broke up the relationship myself and I walked away, and later it turned out that I had made a mistake, then I would blame myself. I had made those kind of mistakes before and I didn't want to blame myself again. But if I cheated and then confessed and then she left by herself, then in some twisted way, it will look like she was the one that left, and then I will be justified that, she left, right? But this is how people think. And I did it with so much arrogance that was concealed and masquerading as honesty. That is not right. That is not wisdom, and that is not strength. That is cowardice. That is being cowardly. If you want to walk out of your relationship, then man up and walk out one time. Rip off the band-aid, walk out one time. Or woman up and walk away. Don't start setting people up and being manipulative because you are too chicken and too cowardly to end things properly. Have you ever heard that saying that ignorance is bliss? Yes, they say ignorance is bliss, that what you don't know won't harm you or won't kill you. Well, in reality, it is one of the shallowest pieces of coruscation and thinking. Because in reality, what you don't know will kill you most of the time. It is what people don't know that kills them a whole lot of the time. But one of the very few exceptions to that rule is when your spouse is cheating on you, when your significant other or your partner is cheating on you. In this one case, what you don't know will actually not harm you. Because a whole lot of the time, the partner already suspects. They suspect that you're cheating. So by confessing, you are actually bringing their greatest nightmare to life. You are not solving anything by confessing. What you're doing is shedding the weight of the guilt off your own shoulders or subconsciously sabotaging your relationship. you are now harming them again twice. You already harmed them, you already hurt them by cheating, even though they didn't know. Now you are confessing and you are harming them and hurting them all over again. Double wahala for daddy body, as Fela said. Do you know what you can actually do if you really feel bad about cheating on your spouse or your partner? Do you know? How about this? Stop cheating. How about that? Stop cheating, so you don't have anything to break their heart with and confess in the first place. Stop cheating. And then, if you're still feeling guilty, to assuage your guilt, to water down your guilt, to feel some relief, go and tell God, or go and tell a counselor, a professional counselor. But don't tell your wife, don't tell your spouse, don't tell your husband. Don't break their heart. You've already broken their heart. Let me say this again. Let us reiterate this again, because it bears repeating. The coping mechanism of your spouse is to pretend that your cheating is not true, even though they will usually suspect. That is the only way they are not going to go insane, by pretending it is not true. Yes, of course it is pretense, but what else are they going to do? And consider this poor woman. Let's use a woman. Now consider this woman. She's raising 4 kids with you. 4. The oldest kid is 10. The next one is 8. The one after that is 5. The last one is just 2 years old. If they confront you with your cheating and they leave, how are they going to raise 4 children? And it could be the husband too. If your husband suspects you of cheating, how will he raise 4 children on his own? Imagine if he was in Canada or America. He left Nigeria to go to Canada or America. They know you are cheating, or at least they suspect. But their last bit of hope is that maybe it is not true. And then you are going to now confirm it and just break and rock their whole world because you're feeling guilty, because you want to be honest. And again, I have mentioned this. I know how you are thinking, especially men. If I confess to her, then she will see that I am honest. This is one of the cases where actions backfire badly. She will not see you as honest. She will see right through you. She will see exactly what you're trying to do. Women see through that BS honesty that we give them. They see that we're trying to be manipulative. They see that we're trying to get them to forgive us for messing up in the first place. What you're really saying when you confess to your wife is, well, I messed up, but it doesn't matter because I'm now confessing. See, I'm a good person. I did it. You didn't have to know, right? You didn't have to know, but I've now come and told you. How? The wages of sin is death. I did not hear anywhere that the wages of sin is confession. No, the wages of the action you took, your stupid action of cheating, if you're stupid enough to confess, is that you will suffer. You will suffer, sometimes for decades. Your marriage will never be the same. I have a friend who's been married for 15 years. He cheated on his wife in their first year of marriage. He confessed. That was 14 years ago. Today, 14 years later, his wife is still holding it over his head till tomorrow. She's still holding it over his head. She's still torturing him every day till tomorrow. Till tomorrow. She's still punishing him for that confession he made 14 years ago. There is no man whom I know, no man who has ever confessed cheating or confessed about cheating to his wife who did not suffer and regret that decision. None. Likewise, there is no woman I know who has done it as well. In fact, for women, it is usually catastrophic. They are usually kicked out of the house. And yes, every once in a while, you hear stories about people who confess, women who confess to their husband and survived it. In fact, my guest on our penultimate podcast, the podcast before the last, Soji Olayinka, he said that, well, lucky you, madam, but you are the exception to the rule. And at any rate, they are still walking through it anyway. It's not as if she's out of the woods. But I don't know any man who confessed to his wife who is still not suffering for it till this day, especially in this modern era in which we live. Our mothers and their generation were far more forgiving than we are right now. If you feel so bad that you cheated, as I said, the best thing you can do for your spouse and for yourself is to stop cheating immediately. And if you have stopped and you still feel so bad, confess to God. And if you've confessed to God or you don't even believe in God, and you still feel so bad, find a marriage counselor or a priest. Go to a church and confess to the priest. Or tell your friend or your friends whom you trust, because people are tough. Go and tell some enemy posing as your friend. He's the one who will go and tell your wife. And any friend with even a modicum of wisdom or experience who has been married will tell you, don't ever confess to your wife. And this brings me to my final point as we begin to round this up. Let's be clear. Even though you have done something wrong, please do not see yourself as a cheater. Don't see yourself as a cheater. Men, that's one of the main points here, especially the men. You are confessing to something that you are not. You are confessing to a mistake. The fact that you made a mistake does not make you that mistake. The fact that you cheated does not make you a cheater or cheater. You know, he's a cheater, he's American. Let me be clear on that. A cheater will cheat because he's a cheater. But a person who made a mistake, stumbled once, fell once or twice, that person is not a cheater. That person made a silly mistake. Maybe they were outside, maybe they were in a club hanging out with their boys, you know. Maybe they were sex-starved from home. Things have been difficult, they were not getting sex at home. We see that a lot. And it's not always because madam is wicked. It's just that, you know, work, especially if you moved to America or Canada or the UK, if you japa, the stress, So maybe it's not getting sex at home. Maybe they are fighting. So maybe they are out with their boys, drinking, trying to unload their affairs, you know, talking. And then one beautiful, gorgeous girl came along when he was drunk, and one thing led to another. It is not right. I'm not making an excuse for him. But it is what it is. It's a mistake. You did it. That doesn't make you a cheater. However, a person who is a cheater does it consistently over time. They are not cheating because they stumbled or because of circumstance. They are cheating because that is who they are. And if you're that kind of person, then this message is not for you now. You already know now. You already know, say rather than confess, we go die. Now die, we go die there. You know now. So you need a whole other level of help. Not be this video you need. But if you're a person who stumbled once or twice or a few times and you're feeling bad, then again, don't make your partner carry that weight of guilt with you. It will solve nothing. Go and sort yourself out. Take all of that guilt, turn it inward, stop, and change your actions, not your character, because essentially you're a good person. Just change your actions. Or maybe change part of your character. Part of your character is flawed. Maybe do that. And here's the better thing you can do. Be nicer to your partner in the wake of that. Shower them with love. Let them be asking, what is happening? Why are you suddenly so nice? And then you say, nothing, it's nothing, you know. And then shower them with more love. And do it out of genuineness. Don't do it just out of guilt. Actually change. So here's the conclusion of the whole matter, which is essentially what I've been saying since. The conclusion of this whole matter is exactly what I've said. Do not confess to cheating. Stop cheating. Change. Confess to God, to your priest, to your counselor, to your close friend whom you trust. But don't ever put that weight on your spouse, because that is not honesty. That is cruelty. You're being wicked. Don't do it. Have I said that already?